Hi there, it's time to look at VeChain through the Wyckoff lens, okay? And if you're new to my sessions, here are the 3 key topics that I'll cover throughout the session. So let's start with the weekly chart. So last week we already confirmed that we're going through actually not even last week, a couple of weeks ago we already confirmed we're going through a spring period from the big picture point of view. Okay, this week when we get to the daily chart, we'll see exactly what happened. The second spring test has already happened and it seems to be showing some good sign. As of now, I am keeping this right here, meaning the test will continue. So basically, in Wyckoff method, all these different names are simply tests for the market. How willing are people to go in? How fearful are people trying to get out? All right. Hi Sam, thanks. Yeah, so here, when it's a 50% chance of it coming for more tests, we hope to see that once again the price come back to challenge or go above the orange key level of 0.026. That's where the last sign of strength was. But that's like 4 months ago. Okay, so that's what we hope to see for the next stage after all the tests. All right, so it's time to get to the daily chart. This is what I want to share with you. Okay, remember this blue box is that we are in the horizontal trading range, or if you would like to call it the way that I name it, we are having a horizontal air hockey table. Reason I call that is if you think about an air hockey table, the price is like the puck. It bounces off within the boundaries. All right. This week, especially just today, it went way deeper. So we have to adjust the table. So from previous downtrend, it changed the direction, exhibited some sideways movement, and now it seems like it's not entirely flat. So we have to adjust it. So it changed from a rapidly declining trend to a more mild declining trend. All right, so that's where we are. And today's candlestick and yesterday as well, especially combined with the volume, is telling us something is happening. So with the strong buying from yesterday and today's very short candlestick body, the bulls and the bears has been battling hard around this yellow dash line level, 0.013 roughly. Okay, this was where the last test was on November 4th and 5th. If we go further to the left, we see June 2023 tested the same level. Where we are now, however, where it tried to test is this level, 0.0096. That's where October 10th tested, but it's not the very first time it comes to this level. It was actually November 2020, that VeChain has visited this level. So that's why in the previous sessions I shared that if this continues south, where October 10th has indicated, that was the previous trend, okay, before the breakout happened. Now that it becomes more gradual, it is still showing a tendency trying to reach that same level. So it'll take time for that to show us whether these few days of activities is actually going to provide sufficient support. Like if there are enough people to get willing to get in at this level of 0.013, then eventually it will stabilize, trade horizontally, and move from the weaker side of the channel or the air hockey table. So remember, the lower side is the weaker side, the upper half is the stronger side. So if the price continues to trade an edge towards the upper side, that's when the higher chance of breaking outside of this channel happen. And that's why I said, the test will continue until that point, and then we will probably see another uptrend again. So this yellow dashed line has been broken. So last time I said October 10th, November 5th forms this line. If this line is broken, then it means it confirms it's continuing to the south side. Okay, I see a lot of comments coming in. Thank you guys. Yeah, hi Rose. Thanks for joining. And how do I see the upside and the downside? So the blue box is actually, you can say is a trading zone or trading range, or a channel box. But I also use the name of air hockey table because that helps people to visualize how we use this. So basically the price will bounce between the bottom and ceiling, and also the center line has certain effect to it as well. Alright, so downside, upside, it depends on how the price moves, but essentially we have to observe, based on the movements, from those peaks and the highs and lows, basically, of those candlesticks, they form a boundary, if that makes sense to you. And eventually, after we have a couple of reference points, the hockey table or the channel box becomes more solid until a point where it breaks outside of that trend. So that's why in my sessions I always share, when these the edges of the table crosses those intermediate or key levels, those are usually where the breakout would happen. Okay, so what I'm saying is, you see this blue edge that comes with or crosses the red key level. Now, we are still far from that point as of this moment within this new trend. Okay, there's one over here. If the price trades back to above the red key level, that's about 1 cent 50. When we get closer to Christmas, that's another opportunity, assuming it comes back to trade above the red line. If it doesn't, if it continues to trade along these two yellow dash line, that means we have to wait longer, because the price, like I said, is trading on the weaker side of the channel box right now. So it has to move back to the stronger side, the upper half, for the breakout to be visualized. As of now, it's still not there yet, and it's basically showing us more tests. Okay, I'm just going back to this one because for VeChain, for some reason I haven't got the same thing here. So actually I might have tagged this in a way that more close to the weekly time frame. So in other charts, that even Dogecoin and a couple of others that I just covered, these are not the accumulation. They shouldn't be. Those are basically the new distribution cycle over there. So after this selling climax, and you shouldn't remove the test, there were a couple of tests. Okay, and also this should be here. All right, so then there was another distribution within the daily time frame, and this happened on October 10th. That came down and do horizontal trading, was actually another beginning of accumulation. The selling climax potentially, or at least it looks to be, for many altcoins happened beginning of this month, and we had the automatic rally afterwards around the 10th, 11th. This, not the yellow line, we're still waiting for the actual low point of the spring that's still being confirmed. But like I said, the volume yesterday, the candlestick today, seems to have found a near-term or short-term equilibrium position that, you know, they're not letting the price to get lower. But the channel box also indicated that it may rebound as of this moment, but it doesn't stop it from trading along the bottom edge of the box. Okay, so the volume in the coming days are going to be key. So if it continue to go low and trade sideways, that's potentially a good sign. Like I said, if it edges towards the upper half of the box, that's where a higher chance of breakout comes, and that's where it may get back to horizontal tests and eventually comes to the real sign of strength. Like I said, in the weekly chart, heading towards the orange key level. All right, the 0.026. Hopefully above it, like what happened in July. All right. BCH I covered, let me check, just yesterday. Yeah, so Rose, you can check. It's already there. Sam, great content, love the value in the fund. Thanks very much, Sam. So this is for VeChain. And Rose, if you're still online, let me change to this view so you can see me clearer. I noticed you will always ask me sessions that I might have just did a day or two ago. So is it because I did a lot of sessions? That's why it's difficult for you to find out, you know, what sessions are there. I'm trying to figure. I know I'm doing it a little bit different from other creators, and this might create difficulty for you to find my videos. Is that the case, or is it something else? Like if you do a search, is it going to pop up? Or have you already watched the BCH video I did yesterday? And that you just want me to check BCH now? Which I think it shouldn't have changed much. Okay, so if you have dropped off, maybe you can leave me a comment after you're seeing what I've asked. So thanks for joining me, guys. See you tomorrow.